Hi, Ian Foster from Be a Winning Trader, and this is my analysis for the week commencing the 25th of September. We're looking at a few of the major Forex pairs. We are looking at some of the major indices, and we will look at gold and light crude oil. So let us begin analysing what the euro dollar is looking like for the week ahead. So we have the euro dollar here. We have got the weekly chart up, and you can see that both this last 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, the euro dollar has been weak. And the reason I say it's been weak is because the close here, if I just scroll this up, the close here on the euro dollar on Friday, it closed closer to the low than it did to the high. That's telling me from a price action perspective that there's greater selling pressure in the euro dollar, and therefore for the next week or the periods in the future, that low should be broken to the downside before this high. So therefore, in that understanding, we should break 106.14 out to the downside before we actually take the high out of 107.36. We closed at 106.45. The objective was to take 106.31 out to the downside at least. 106.14. It was 31 the week before. Well, you can see last week it did rally up, but that was only creating selling opportunities. Also, why it's quite significant is that we're now coming, if I just draw a horizontal line across here, we're now coming to a key area, and that is in here. That was our last confirmed higher price action weekly low, indicating a bullish trend because higher low, further higher high, higher low, higher high. But we've just broken through that last week, and that would be indicating further weakness for me. So the week ahead, and there is our daily chart. The week ahead for me would be to certainly look for last week's low on the weekly to be broke to the downside. The weekly closed quite a funny day. It broke the lows first on Friday, and then it gathered into a bit of strength. So there may be initial strength in the euro dollar, but overall, the weekly objectives for me would be looking to take sell signals and positions that I can hold on to. Intraday trading, of course, is totally different because you're going to get buy and sell opportunities within an intraday time period, and you can do that multiple times if you wish. Let's take a look now at the pound dollar. Again, we start with the weekly time frame chart, and you can see we have a very bearish weekly bar. And also, like the euro dollar, we've broken through the previous higher low, confirmed higher low here, which is indicating weakness. And that again will be indicating to me that any rallies of any significance is only for the purposes of creating an opportunity to short or sell this market. Again, we look at the daily chart; it's slightly different than the euro dollar in as much as that we had a bullish bar close on Thursday, and we've come back down. We traded more or less inside all day Friday, and we've closed very much on its lows. So again, the objectives for me would be certainly to look for sell signals. Now, if I go down into the 4 hour time frame, you can see that we're in red mode, and the red bars are indicating weakness. This is based on my software product called STB Trend Trader. So that is also bearish. Now, if we take a look at the dollar yen, it's a slightly different picture, everybody, because in here we've got a very bullish weekly bar close. We have been bullish. The dollar against the Japanese yen has been strong now. It attempted down round here to give a correction. We've now got a confirmed higher low. So the last significant low in this market here is down at those levels there. And that there is at 137.24. So what I will be doing is just drawing my line there, because I know that is the line in the sand where this market will be indicating a trend, a direction, if it was to occur presently. But again, if we start looking at the monthly charts, you can see that the all-time high, or the most recent, not the all-time highs, the most recent highs in this market is 151.94, and I can see certainly the euro dollar heading towards 151.94. And then let's see, can we read to see is that previous resistance area going to hold, or is this market going to break up through it? Because there's where we are there. It's been very, very bullish after this downward move here. Been really, really bullish. So again, if I take a look On the daily chart, you can see that we had an outside vertical bar to the downside on Thursday, which is the most single powerful bearish bar that you can have when analyzing price action. And again, the level that is key for me there is the high of 148.54. We went to a high on Friday of 148.41. So if we break up through 148.54, then all I can do is see this market heading further north. You can see here that that has also been replicated on the 4-hour chart. We've got blue price bars with one green neutral price bar in here, but we have got basically a higher low that is not a confirmed low in there. We had an attempted low, so we did have, but that is not a confirmed low. That there is a higher low than this low down here, the last low, which was confirmed down around here. So if I do this, that is our last confirmed low, which has also happened to be a double bottom at 147.01 on the 4-hour chart. And now we've got another further low in here at 147.31. And we're trading at 148.35. So 148.54, 55 is the handle that this market needs to break to the upside. And I believe it probably will. So again, we're looking to get long in retracement. Any retracement from the present levels, I think it would be wise and prudent to be looking to take long signals, providing we get that intraday signal. What is that intraday signal? That intraday signal is higher lows, higher confirmed price action lows. Again, market that I'm trading, presently in a trade here, folks, is the pound yen. Again, this is a very bearish weekly bar. We've had weekly bars for this last number of weeks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that have all been bearish. This market has really tried very, very, very hard to rally, and each recent rally after this massive, fantastic move up has now been knocked back. So the selling pressure perhaps is getting a little bit stronger in this market. So it is certainly for the short to medium term, and I say that because here's what I'm keeping an eye on. We've got a bullish monthly bar, and that low of that monthly bar was 180.40, and we made lows this month so far of 180.76. So if we were to break 180.40, that would be quite a significant price support break. So it would, and this market could be heading lower. Again, trade what we see. You can see that we're trading inside Friday's bearish bar, or Thursday's bearish bar on Friday. We've got a weekly bearish bar. So all I can see, and if we go to the 4-hour, we've got red bars, and we've got a bearish bar here. So since the news of the BOE, Bank of England, interest rate news that came out at 12 p.m. UK time on Friday, we've been trading inside this bearish 4-hour bar. So again, with that simple understanding, we have an objective that's to break 180.76 to the downside. So again, we know the key level in this market. 180.40 is the key level. 180.76 is the immediate level, and we're at 181.53. So again, if this market were to, shall I say, excuse the pun, play ball, then I think we can get into a lovely sell signal, hopefully, and take a ride down. Okay, so that is there where we go. Let's take a look now at the DAX. And you can see what's happened here on the indices now. There's a little bit of a conflict between the FTSE and some of the others, okay, which I don't like. Okay, I don't like, because the FTSE bullish bars, I will explain to you, are certainly quite strong. So maybe it's going to fall very, very, very miserably, or else these other equity markets, such as the DAX, S&P, Dow, etc., are going to perhaps turn around. But we trade what we see, and we'll just exactly analyze what we see also. So again, this is the DAX on a weekly chart, a very bearish weekly bar here, a very, very bearish weekly bar. Close was very close to the low. We're hitting support here, everybody. You can see this. Previous support here, around the 15.5. We've closed on Friday at a 15.502. So again, if we start getting breaks and closes below that, if we take a look at the daily bar, you can also see that we've got a bearish daily bar. It just broke Thursday's low and no more, but It's still closed bullish. So the buyers that come into the market to try to push the DAX up on Friday, they failed miserably as we speak. Yes, we've hit quite significant support, as you can see. Always look to the left of your chart. But again, for myself, it will be objectives of any rallies I will be using and using this market to take short trades. You can see here that we have got a bearish 4-hour chart also, and we've got lower highs here. There's a lower confirmed high up there. So again, in the 4-hour chart, that market would need to be breaking above this level here at 15,810. I think there's more significant downside movement on it, as you can see here, and we are maybe heading down quite, we've definitely got let me see. I think there's definitely going to be a 500 or 600, 700 point move to the downside. I know, unfortunately, it'll probably not go straight down, but I think it's going to be heading south, certainly. Now, let me take a look also at the Dow. You can see the Dow is exactly the same. Now, the Dow is closed on its very lows here, folk. It is closed on the very bottom. And it's quite possible there could be a bit of a rally because it just closed. It can't go any lower. So therefore, the price action objectives do not need to. Doesn't need to be much done here for those to be achieved. So I can see perhaps a little bit of a bounce coming into this market. But if there is, I would have to say this, and that is only an opportunity from which to sell this market. So again, you can see here, if I just draw our horizontal line across here, this was our last confirmed higher low on the Dow, but then we failed miserably. We met a lower high. We come back up and we've met a further lower high, and we've broken through that previous bullish that we can call it a support line, but I much rather call it a price action confirmed higher low line, and it's broken through that also. So I can only see this market, and if we just draw in the lines, you'll see what I mean. Somebody once said to me the zigzag lines. This is just very roughly, everybody, but you can see what's happening. We're now getting confirmed lower highs. That is a lower high than this high here. And now we broke through a low. So this market I can see certainly heading at least, dare I say, down to that level. There's where there was last significant support at 33,597. So again, another 400 point move to the downside that's possibly going to go lower. If the DAX is going to be showing the weakness that it's anticipating, quite possible that these US markets also. And if we just take a look at the S&P 500, you can see also we've got a very bearish weekly bar, rather, I should say here, the exact same thing. Again, and just take zoom out a little bit, you can see here what we've done. We're now at support. So this is why it's very key. Never, yes, use support because it's bounced off it, once. It's bounced off it, which is more significantly the second time. But look, it's broke through it now. So the next support level is quite some distance down here, folks. Quite some distance down. So again, I would be expecting this market at least to go down. There's maybe the previous resistance the area there, I should say, coming into support, and that high was at 40.94, and we're at 43.30. So there could be a couple of hundred S&P points, which again would be indicating that the Dow, I'm talking about 400 points, it would be much more because every S&P point's roughly about 7 points to a Dow point. So that would leave like a 1,400 point move. Yes, trade the market that we see in front of us, but generally you could see quite a significant move down just because of the price action. This is just analyzing price action. So therefore, on this market, I again would be looking to sell any significant rally. Now, the FTSE bucks the trend a little bit, as I said, simply because we've got a bullish weekly bar. Last week we traded inside that bullish bar. in here. We traded inside that. We have to go down to break 74.76, the downside, some 200 points lower, before that is negated, everybody. So the FTSE's not playing ball. It's definitely not playing ball. Yes, it tried to rally again, as some of the other markets did on Friday, like the DAX, etc. And it failed miserably because we had a bearish bar on Thursday, where the greater probabilities were to take Thursday's low out to the downside and comparable to taking the highs out, and it did. It went down and it took the low out just about and then rallied. But look where it closed. The market closed closer to the low. So all this buying pressure here was negated. So again, that's a sign. It's just, as I say, I'm a little bit apprehensive about the FTSE being as weak as some of the other markets because of this very bullish weekly bar, and it has got a heck of a lot of weakness. A lot of weakness has got to come into the FTSE before this bullish weekly bar is negated. So that's just one little adage to bear in mind, folk, when we're trading the other markets that are the equity markets, other major equity markets that are perhaps bearish. Just keep an eye also on the FTSE. I often say that the FTSE is a smart market, just because people ask me regularly why I say that, and it's just simply because I can see at times the FTSE doing something that is a little bit in tandem with the other major markets, such as the Dow or the S&P or the DAX, etc., but not fully in tandem. And the FTSE quite often turns out to be the market that is, correct. So in that understanding, I would be just a little bit wary of the weakness in here. So if we now continue to look at gold, and again, gold was very similar to the indices. It tried its best to rally on Thursday. This is the daily chart on gold. And we had a very bearish bar, I should say, on Thursday. And on Friday, it tried to rally, and we've traded inside this bearish bar of Thursday. So the key level for me on gold is the high there, which is a high of 1931.59, and the low of 1913.94. So again, just two little lines across like this are the significant areas on gold. Now, where do I think gold is more likely to go? And that means I think it's more likely to go south based on probabilities. Why do I say that? Well, if we flick on the weekly chart, folk, you can see that we've got a weekly bar here that also is closer to the low in comparison to the high. Okay, this close is closer to the low than it is to the high. And on that understanding, that low of 1913 should be broken. 1913.94 should be broken to the downside. We've closed at 1925. And if I put on a 4-hour chart, you can see here in the 4-hour chart, also we've got this bounce here. We've got, quite a bit of resistance coming in just here at the highs, which is at 1929. So we've got a couple of key levels on gold, but if I get an intraday signal, which again would be a lower high, this kind of a move here, when we get a market going down, a market going back up again, giving me a lower high on an intraday time frame, and then that there would trigger for me. If that's a lower high than the previous high up here, that would be indicating weakness, and I would be liking and really wanting a trade setup like that for gold at this minute in time. At one stage, I have to say, it was looking a little bit more bullish, but I'm just, when you analyze it now based on what we presently see, it's perhaps initially not going to be so bullish. Now, if we do look at the and will I move this out of the way? The monthly chart, you can see that we're trading inside a very, a bullish monthly bar close, which would indicate that we should be starting to take the highs out at 1966.05 to the up through the highs of 1966.05 rather. But there's a little bit of downward movement, I believe, going to happen on gold first. So for me, I'll be keeping an eye on gold. Whether I'm trading gold or not, I will see. If there's going to be a very clear signal, I need an exact, very definitive signal. And if I get that with gold, I will certainly be trading it. But it has been a little bit higgledy-piggledy recently for me, gold. But significantly bearish bar inside the bearish bar on the daily time frame, with the objectives of taking that high, that low out to the downside. So that's for me and gold. Just to finish off, we will look at light crude oil, US oil. Again, quite a move we've had in US oil. it's pretty bullish, everybody. You can see in the weekly chart here, we've got, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're in now to into 4 weeks. We've 4 weeks of very bullishness, and then we've got 50-50 bar here the week it's closed on Friday. And perhaps if we go to the daily chart, you can see where we closed down here. Just probably, yes, we had a lower high, lower low, and we had a close below the mean. In other words, the average price had closed lower, indicating that it should break the low on Friday to the downside. Now, crude oil didn't. Crude oil turned around and took the high of Friday out. So in its own right, that is a bullish scenario. If you've got a probability that you should break a low and you instead take out the high, which should not have happened, that then turns a bearish scenario into a bullish scenario. And then gold, or like crude oil rather, in this instance, started to fall off a little bit, which we can start seeing on the the intraday time frame. There's the 1 hour time frame. The 4 hour is like this. So we've had the real good bull run up, as you can see, because the price bars have been indicated, been painted blue, indicating strength. Then we'll start to go a little bit sideways here, because when we see green price bars, that is indicating that the market is very much in an indecisive mode. But now we just closed there towards the very last bar, a blue price bar, indicating that the sum total of buying pressures and comparable to selling pressures is much greater, and therefore it's turned blue. So again, it's a market I will not be jumping into in the very early stages of trading on Monday morning. It will be something that I will be looking at a little bit closer, because, as I said to you, we have got the indecisiveness here a little bit, probably slightly bullish. We've got the indecisiveness on the weekly, a little bit more bullishness on the daily, and then suppose you could say that we've got a blue bar now on the 4 hour. So on that understanding, there's probably a little bit more of a indication that this market is the breather that it's been having over the last day or so is maybe perhaps over. This retracement here, which is, let me tell you, it's been pretty slight. It's been pretty slight in relation to the rally that it's been in. And therefore it could be heading back up. So I'll just let it. It's the one market that I love trading, is like crude oil, but it is also the one market from which, in this instance, I will be letting settle. So there we go, folk. There's a bearishness in the equity markets. Just be wary of the FTSE. There is certainly bearishness in my pound yen, which is the one market that within my Discord channel that I'm trading actively. I'm going to add another market onto that, an equity market, either the Dow or the DAX, I believe, has been the general feedback I've been getting. And we've got a bearishness in the euro dollar, we've a bearishness in the pound dollar, we've a bullishness in the dollar yen. So, you cannot trade everything, everybody. And certainly if you're trading on an intraday basis, trade one market and only be in one trade at one time. That's all I will say. Look, thank you for listening. Remember, it's www.beawinningtrader.com, or again, if you wish to email me, it's ian@beawinningtrader.com. And within the description, then the video below here, you will see the links to my Discord channel. Again, I'm offering a 14-day trial that it will cost you absolutely nothing for 14 days to see whether you'd enjoy the signals and the general chat and the reasoning that we're taking trades, etc., etc. Okay, so thank you in the meantime. Have a great trading week. Bye-bye.